Here we go. We have risen from the ashes to school the masses. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of the Scholars of Wrestling Show, episode 301. I'm your man behind the microphone, Scholar Jeff. To my wherever our audio
I
video
don't even know
software
why you
decides to put
started
us.
with. I
It's
just stop
hey,
trying.
after 300 episodes of this, it becomes a force of habit. Okay, Master
You
of
don't have to play
Douchery.
time because this isn't the norm.
Ladies and gentlemen, the master of douchery and reigning Scholars of Wrestling heavyweight champion, Scholar Brian. How are you doing already, sir?
Are you gonna make me turn into Tor? Are you? Okay, say it right. I am the reigning, maybe defending.
If you feel like it, I'm sure.
Exactly. I'm golluming this shit. That's it.
Oh no, then you're turning into me.
Scholars of Wrestling heavyweight champion.
Now that we've got that out of the way,
But you know what? No, stop. Stop it. Okay, that's it. Yeah, keep going. Keep going. Go ahead.
and the master of pantomime joining us as always this week, Scholar Charlie. How are you doing tonight, sir?
Next in line for the throne.
Are you?
Scholar Charlie.
Are you really? Are you really?
I am.
Just
So,
because they
number contender.
are you? Has
Yes.
that been confirmed?
Yes.
By who?
Me. Up here.
We'll see.
Yes, we will see indeed. But in the meantime, happy 4th of July to everyone here in the States. It's 4th of July weekend, and we are in the middle of a new chapter in the Wednesday Night Wars in the world of professional wrestling. But before we get all that, we have a tiny little bit of happenings to discuss. And the way we always like to kick off every single show with a little bit of a segment we like to call Backstage News.
Yes. Let's peek behind that curtain and check in a little bit of that.
Backstage News. News.
Tarek's not here. It's hard, man.
Yeah, when Tarek's away on assignment, we all get thrown off our game a little bit. But yes, as far as backstage news goes, apparently WWE has very drastically changed their tune on their wearing of masks and TV tapings policy.
Well,
They
that
have
would
changed a lot.
Yeah, well, when you have reports going out of over between 30 and 40 positive tests from your talent, okay, yeah, you have to change your tune. Okay, yeah, Kevin Dunn can say all he wants. If you don't wear masks to a TV, if you wear masks to a TV taping, you're not a real fan. Well, let's be completely honest. Real fans themselves shouldn't really be at these tapings to begin with. But hey, since they are, okay, yeah, the fact that they made it mandatory to wear masks when you're in the arena, especially since they're based out of Florida, makes all the sense in the world at the moment.
Okay. Thoughts from you, Scholar Charlie?
I mean, obviously they should be wearing masks when there's been the uprights of 30 to 40 cases. It's just normal. It's good protocol.
Yeah, I know that especially lately, it seems like there's plenty of people who don't seem to be taking this quite as seriously. Again, we're based out of New Jersey, so it's masks and nothing but around these parts.
Mm-hmm.
But all that being said, with all the new regulations on masks and temperature taking and all that applies, I know we just recently talked about this not too long ago, but I'd like to take a look and ask the same question now. As a little bit of a scholar's quick talk, on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 being I will absolutely never do this, no way in hell, and 10 being you cannot stop me from doing this, how comfortable do you feel attending a WWE show under these conditions?
It for me, okay, it's not even just WWE. Okay, it doesn't matter whether there's masks involved or anything like that. If there's a mass amount of people that are scheduled to be in one place, I'm not going to be there. Doesn't matter what it doesn't matter what safety precautions they have in place. Okay, because I don't trust that with everything that I've seen on the internet, on Facebook, on social media, with everything I've seen, you're not going to catch every person who's not following the rules and regulations that are handed down. So for me, it's legitimately okay until there's a vaccine, until there's a way for this not to affect the way that it's affecting. It's like I can't be in a place with a large amount of people. It's just not possible.
So for you, that would be a 1.
Especially with the luck that I've had this year. This hasn't been a good year. This hasn't been a good year for Scholar Brian in the luck department. So if I show up at, say, in your case, if I show up in a SummerSlam kind of situation, okay, there might be only a small amount of people that test positive, but with my luck this year, I'm gonna be one of them. So that's it. So at this point, at least until the end of the year, it's not happening.
How about you, Scholar Charlie? Has your mind changed at all in the midst of all these changes by WWE?
Yeah, unfortunately, it's changed for the worse. Last time you asked me this question, I said I'd go to like an indie show, maybe at best. But seeing in retrospect why indoor dining has been pushed back and delayed further in Jersey, because a handful of people couldn't behave in a bar under the current protocol. You can't take your chances anywhere. It doesn't matter if there's 5, 10, 25 people. Like, people are not controlling themselves. So, no, it's a 0.
Yeah, I definitely feel like I'm the only one who's a little bit more encouraged by this development. I'm glad that the rest of the WWE staff seems to be keeping up to date and adapting for the better, at the very least. Slower, yes, but adapting all the same. I find this, I don't blame anybody for not wanting to step into a WWE arena at this point, but I cannot help but see this as a step in the positive direction at the very least.
I'm not saying that it's not a step in the positive direction. Okay, the WWE is at least trying at this point. Okay, we couldn't say that a week ago. Okay, we can say that now. They're at least trying. But you have to remember who you're dealing with. Okay, as I said while I was talking, you're with the amount of people that they're talking about letting in, you're not going to catch everybody who's not doing what they're supposed to be doing. You're not going to catch everybody who are going to take their masks off for a short amount of time, because no one's that stupid that they're going to get in the arena, take it off, and leave it off. But they're going to take it off for like 10, 15 minutes at a time. And then what are you going to do? That's what I'm saying. It's not it's not a question of whether the WWE is doing the right thing. Okay. At this point, okay, they've fucked up for so long since the beginning of this thing. Okay, that it took them until like a quarter of their talent tested positive throughout the entire company for them to actually enact this regulation. Okay, but here's the problem. Okay, you're based out of Florida, and Florida is like one of the 3 states that's the main problem. And the only reason they're the main problem is because people can't control themselves. Okay, so it's one of those, yeah, they'll put the mask on. They'll put the mask on to get in.
Mm-hmm.
To get in and get to their seats. But after that, what kind of security measures are you going to have that's going to enforce that? That's what I want to know. You can have the rules and regulations laid out. Okay? But we've seen it already. If you watch social media, if you keep an eye on Facebook, if you keep an eye on Twitter, it doesn't matter that masks are mandatory. Okay, you have the people that don't give a shit. And at that point, what's the WWE gonna do? At this point, it's still I'm gonna take the extra precaution. I'm not gonna go to a WWE show because I can't trust it. Go ahead.
Tag it in, Charlie. What do you got?
Not to mention, protocol currently is if you're entering somewhere, you need your temperature taken. You need to be at 99.9 or below, and you need to wear a mask the whole time you're in any of these surroundings. What Brian said, people are going to wear masks to their seats. Yeah, you don't have enough security once everybody reaches their seats to be like, oh, sir, pull your mask up over your nose. Like, that's not going to happen. Not to mention, even if it's just Full Sail, I know I sure wouldn't buy the tickets under the chances that I could have a 99 or above that day, you know? Because it's an intimate crowd. Therefore, tickets will probably go up in price because you're that much closer to the action. And of course, WWE is going to cash grab and be like, yeah, autograph session as long as you wear a mask with so-and-so with purchase of ticket. Chalk up the price even more. I wouldn't buy a ticket under those circumstances because it could potentially be money dropped completely. But I don't think that they could take even just the amount of people that fill the performance center's temperature on walk-in. I feel like they would have to get there like 3 hours before the event for everybody to get checked in, you know?
Well, I feel like that's the one thing I might possibly disagree with you on because if for no other reason than a lot of those remote scanner temperature thermometers, it looks like they'll take your temperature in less than 2 seconds.
And that's all well and good, but how accurate are they?
I would imagine accurate enough, considering that's
what I'm saying. The way the WWE operates, okay, they don't even believe the positive and negative tests that they've got. Okay, they don't believe it. So they actually delayed tapings because they weren't happy with the results that they got and they were going to redo them. Okay, so it's like, I'm sorry, Jeff. I understand why you are so in favor.
Oh yeah, we all know why he's in favor of fans getting there.
Womp womp.
But okay, I'm suggesting. This is sincere. This is not. I'm suggesting you get your money back. completely honestly. But okay, but I understand why you're trying here. I
That's the
understand.
Yeah.
the event that he is spending money on is days prior to Wave 2 being projected. So he's in the safe zone there.
Yeah, I'm like, I understand why you're trying to find any way possible to be okay with this, but here's the deal. Okay,
I'm
the
so
WWE,
transparent. I
the
know it.
WWE, yeah, so the WWE doesn't even believe their shit. So that's it. So it's like, okay, they're gonna take these tests. They're gonna do these temperature tests to let people in. The WWE doesn't even believe that their temperature tests are correct. They've said this. They've said this in the media.
This might not be the best time to leave well enough alone. I don't know.
Yeah, but then,
Let me just put it this way.
Don't do anything to get into that event.
Just I'm just gonna put it to you this way. As a part of our package, we were going to have a meet and greet with some WWE superstars before the actual event itself. You know who
which
was
one?
present? You know they didn't announce it yet. They didn't announce it until they saw who was going to be available. But you know who they had available last year?
Who?
Lacey Evans.
God,
If I lost my shot,
oh come on!
I don't know who to be
How
pissed
soon?
at more, WWE or the Rona.
How soon? Okay, do you think after this is all over that SummerSlam is gonna come to Brooklyn? How
Of course.
soon? How
Of course.
soon? Probably next year.
I don't know. That'd be great if possible.
Within a 3 to 5 year span, it'll be here.
Yeah, but
I don't want to wait that long.
I want to wait.
let's face it, the
For
way
the
that
Rona to be over.
the way that the WWE has a hard on for Lacey, even though they won't give her the title. Okay, she's still gonna be here in 3 to 5 years. You'll be fine. That's it.
I don't want to wait that long.
They might actually give her a shot with the title. That's it.
All right, Scholar's quick talk before we move on. What
Will
is
Lacey
more?
champion within the next 3 to 5 years? No.
No. What happens first? Corona being cured or Lacey Evans winning the title? Which one happens first? Go.
Corona being cured.
Corona being cured.
Now, what are we talking? I need specifics on this one. Are we talking about a vaccine and like the Americans?
Okay. Just to define, either Lacey wins either the Raw Women's or SmackDown Women's title, or a COVID-19 vaccine gets commercially distributed to the public and is available to the public. Which one happens first?
Corona vaccine.
See, that's the problem because you just said commercially distributed to the public, and we know how the United States works. So that's it.
So you're saying there's a chance?
I am saying there's a chance in that case.
So where are you putting your money on, Lacey or Corona?
No, I'm not. I'm still putting money on the Corona, but I'm saying that there's more of a chance now that you made that particular distinction. Commercially distributed, because we know how the businessmen and businesses of America works. That's it.
At this rate, because Lacey Evans was given main event spots for the better part of last year and didn't get the job done, she's in that Dana Brooke category.
I won't go that far.
What, the category of blondes I like?
No, the category of blondes like that won't win championships.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go.
Mouth, Charlie.
I'm not gonna go that far with the Dana Brooke comparison because Jeff knows how I feel about Dana Brooke. Okay, Lacey Evans is above that. I will allow that, but I will say, okay, with the amount of title opportunities that she's already had, with the amount of main events she's already had, I do agree with Charlie. If she doesn't have it yet,
If she doesn't have it yet,
I don't know, man. You
the
have
official prediction then is Rona beats Lacey to the finish line.
yes.
yes.
Well, on that delightful note, let's move on to the biggest happenings in the wrestling world at large, specifically night one of the Great Wrestling Wednesday Night War, consisting of Fyter Fest going up against the Great American Bash.
If you can call the Great American Bash Night 1 great.
Well,
it's like the first match and the women's matches. The women's matches were great on Great American Bash. Everything in between, okay, low rent raw.
ouch.
I had a question for you guys.
Yo.
Was MJF being the one to proclaim it Wednesday Night Wars or Rating Wars or whatever term he used? Was he the first one to come out and say it?
To my knowledge, yes.
Saying it for weeks. Jericho's been saying it on Twitter for weeks.
No. On program.
On program, yeah, MJF's the first one.
Okay.
Yeah, you could obviously tell what they were doing by putting up
You
MJF on a microphone right out of the gate.
Well, you could kind of say Moxley's promo at Double or Nothing afterwards. The only thing that I could say is that it wasn't TV, but it was a legit promo on AEW programming.
What did he say though?
He that was his whole. This is a paradigm shift. This is AEW. We're going to war. This is it's about
promo.
time. It's about time that someone came around to shake up the wrestling industry. That kind of thing. That was all in John Moxley's promo the night of Double or Nothing.
Yeah, flat out said
it. But it was the first time on TV, MJF, the first time on TNT TV that it was.
All right. So let's walk us through how the viewing experience was for the both of you individually. Starting with Charlie, what was your viewing experience? What did you start off the night watching? And what were your general feedback from the rest of the night?
I watched neither of them live. I watched Fyter Fest yesterday after work. I was really surprised by the women's championship match. It was really good. The challenger was what Penelope
Ford versus Hikaru Shida.
I've never seen her wrestle, so I've only known her as a manager. I've never seen her go. Apparently she surprised a lot of people in that match. And then in the not tag team championship, but Jurassic Express versus MJF, the double kip up spot was fantastic. That was something I do not ever remember seeing in a tag match before. That was awesome.
Yeah, they came out right out of the gate, just like
and
it's like, hey, you want to spike the ratings in the first 15 minutes? Here, throw it and put out there with an MJF, a microphone, and a dinosaur man. Go.
Pretty much. I love Jericho's commentary with the dinosaur man though, but out of what like really stood out, it was definitely those two matches for night one. Cody defended, knew that was in the back. Tag match, I was a little iffy, but I figured they'd successfully defend. Fyter Fest was an overall good first night. I look forward to the next one. And Brian hit the nail on the head with NXT. It was the two women's matches and then like filler.
Brian, you're care to expand on that?
Here's the deal. Okay, with AEW, okay, the matches themselves are never bad. It's always the storyline surrounding them that can get somewhat iffy when it comes around. But when the matches actually happen, I haven't seen a match in AEW where I was like, what the fuck did I just watch? Okay, that's it. So it's starting it off with MJF, Wardlow, and the Jurassic Express was typical AEW. Like they know how to book a card. Okay, they know how to get you interested immediately, and then go through the night. So I thought that they were going to do Private Party that whole bit first. It's the whole they know what they're doing, and every match, okay, is at the very least good. Okay, you can expect that. So it's like, when you watch AEW, it's at least going to be a good show. It's going to be worthy watching. So I watched that on Wednesday. So I watched that on Wednesday night. Okay, because I knew what I wanted to see on NXT wasn't going to happen until next week. What I wanted to see was Keith Lee versus Adam Cole. Okay, that it's like they put Sasha Banks versus Io Shirai on there. I'm like, okay, good stuff. Okay, I knew they were doing the number one contenders match. I'm like, okay, good stuff. What else you got? Apparently nothing at all. because let me put it to you this way. Fyter Fest night 1. As I said on Twitter, I predicted it before. I was like, night 1 for Fyter Fest is going to go so much better than night 1 for Great American Bash. Okay, night 2, it's more up in the air with what is scheduled. Okay, with what was scheduled for night 1 of both shows, Fyter Fest had it in the bag. Easy. Done. Before it even started, it was done. Okay, because the Fatal 4-Way number 1 contenders match, great. For NXT, okay. Io Shirai versus Sasha Banks, great. For NXT. Everything in between, okay. Didn't really care.
All right. Well, hold on. I'm a little surprised to hear you say that, because the second I started watching Orny Loken versus Timothy Thatcher in a straight up technical spectacle, I was like, oh, dang. Just legit technical wrestling out of nowhere. I understand the reaction to that match was kind of mixed, but I personally dug it.
And that's perfectly fine if you're just going by quality of match. If you're going by how does this further anything? That's it. How is this not filler?
Hey,
okay.
If that's filler, then it's
good filler, still filler. Okay. But it's like Oni Lorcan versus Thatcher. Okay. Great match. Good stuff. Technical. Beat the shit out of each other. Good stuff. Why do I care? Not just because of who's in the match. What does it actually further? What does it actually lead to? Okay, you don't know. You really don't.
It can further Tim Thatcher's like absolutely brutal submission style. Like they have been building that over the past couple weeks about Timothy Thatcher's like submission style. People's bones break, people's arms get
And
stretched.
and that's cool. But if we're talking about Wednesday Night War here, okay, and everything on one show furthers the storyline. Everything on one show makes sense and moves something forward, and not everything on the other show moves something forward. It's just a showcase. Okay, it's just a showcase. Hey, this guy does brutal submissions. We've known that for months, but let's have another one. Let's have another match that showcases this. Okay, it was a good match, but we know this about Thatcher. Every Everybody knows this. So it's like it's a good match, but what does it actually do in the long run to further things that we already know?
But did
So
you like the match?
I did, but it goes to further my point. Okay, you can enjoy a match, okay, and still realize that in the long run it did nothing. It's a good match. It's enjoyable to watch. But what did it actually do to move people forward? We know that Tim Thatcher is a submission beast. We know that Oni Lorcan hits really hard. Okay, we know that. Okay, so they went out there, they had a good match. Tim Thatcher does the submission thing, wins the match. We move on. But in a war of what is supposed to be to pay-per-view quality events, why are we having filler? That's what it is. So for me, okay, everything about Fyter Fest felt like a pay-per-view. NXT Great American Bash Night 1 felt like a regular NXT show. Therefore, quite honestly and quite obviously, at least Night 1 goes to Fyter Fest, and it's not even close. That's it.
All right. Charlie, do you concur? Do you think Fyter Fest won last Wednesday?
I wouldn't downplay NXT that much, but because I agree with you on the match quality of the filler matches. They weren't complete crap. The match quality, at least, if they were better paired matches, that would I could understand what Brian was saying. But yeah, Fyter Fest Night 1 put it this way, Fyter Fest Night 1 made me more amped to see what Night 2 brings than Great American Bash Night 1. Because so far, like Brian, I'm only really looking forward to the title match.
Well, all that being said, again, we can't really delay this anymore. Another bit of backstage news most of the way through our show this evening. It has been confirmed that as you posted on Twitter earlier this week, Brian, that supposedly the main event of night 2 of Great American Bash, the title match has gotten spoiled, and we are going to talk about freely. So, spoiler warning: we're going to be talking spoilers in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. According to the leaked photograph that was supposedly of night 2 of Great American Bash, Keith Lee wins the title match and supposedly becomes dual champion.
And I mean, it feels like it's the obvious conclusion. It feels like it's something that was meant to happen, but knowing that it does beforehand makes it kind of hard to, like, I'm still gonna get into it because I love Keith Lee. It's just Keith Lee. You can't.
How do you
can't,
not love Keith Lee?
You can't not. But it's like knowing beforehand that someone from the Performance Center was stupid enough to post that. They're fired immediately. As soon as that got up to, that didn't even have to go. That didn't even have to go to the higher ups. Like the first higher level person that saw that, like I guarantee you, Vince McMahon, Triple H, and Kevin Dunn don't even know. They have no idea.
Probably.
But the first person the first higher up that saw that was like, "Hey, get in here, clean out your shit. You're gone." So it's like I'm still gonna get into it because it's Keith Lee, but I'm not gonna get into it like I would have because I know it's gonna be Keith Lee. Okay, it's the problem with it. It was the problem with SmackDown back in the day when Raw was live every week and SmackDown was taped every week. It was like I'm into Raw every week, like I'm locked in because something might happen. It probably won't, but every once in a while you get a pipe bomb or anything like that on Raw. You get a title change randomly in the early 2000s. You get a WWE title change on Raw. So yeah, but SmackDown, it's like Wednesday morning you could go and know exactly what's gonna happen on SmackDown. So you never get as excited for SmackDown as you are for Raw. It's the same thing here. It's like that could have been like a really huge thing. Okay, Keith Lee uniting the titles. Okay, who? You're not gonna forget about Keith anymore. You shouldn't have to begin with, but you're definitely not now. But but now that someone was dumb enough to leak it on the internet. Now, here's the caveat. Okay, someone leaked it on the internet. Are they gonna do the match over and Adam Cole's gonna win now? That's it.
Or counterpoint. So I heard someone bring this up, and it's hard not to consider it at the very least. What if it was leaked intentionally? What if that this is a ratings bid, and then someone is going to say something to yeah, Keith Lee is going to win their world title. That'll put a lot of butts in the seats. And
it
then,
would be
boom,
a lot.
Ratings
It would
spike.
be a lot. It would be a lot more plausible to believe that if it wasn't a fucking rando from the Performance Center. Okay, if it was like a name, like a name that we recognize, accidentally threw up a photo of Keith Lee with the titles, then I would be like, okay, that's a little weird. Okay, no one who's that far in would fucking do. It's a random. It's a rando. We don't know, who we've never seen before.
Work for WWE.
Who's in the Performance Center. Okay, we don't even know if the WWE knows if Vince McMahon or Triple H knows this guy's name. Okay, that's it.
Guys, more importantly, what am I going to do with these shorts now?
Wear them. Wear them.
Because he's going up to Raw soon. That's it.
Wear them in shame, Charles. Those are your shame shorts now.
They're my shame shorts now.
You have to wear them on every show where you miss or lose a title opportunity. They are the shame shorts. I'm making a note so I never forget.
I see him writing. It's happening.
But about the shameful thing.
There you go.
Awesome.
There you go. Shame shorts. Boom.
But
you guys listen to Sheamus on Corey Graves' podcast?
No, I have not seen,
not
seen
yet.
that yet.
Sheamus went to Vince before this whole Sheamus 2.0 thing, before his return this time around, and he's like, Vince, I really want written in my face to be my theme song again when I return. And then Vince is like, what the fuck is that? It's like my original theme song. I want to use my original theme song. He's like, play it for me. And then Vince is just like, I don't remember that, and you're not using it. And then Sheamus found like a jazzed up, like rock, like more aggressive version of that song, and Vince is like, no, you're not using that. You're using your secondary theme song, and that's it.
Here's the deal, okay? We've known for years now that Vince doesn't know what's going on and has no idea what's good for the business right now. Too many pies. No.
So now Sheamus's goal with that song is to learn how to play it on guitar.
There you go. But it's just nothing that comes out about Vince surprises me anymore.
Sheamus said the whole thing about him being like so close with Triple H is people saw him go to the gym with like Triple H twice, and that was like their whole relationship. They went to the gym like 2 times, and then Sheamus was just deemed Triple H's like.
You know how social media works.
Of course.
So it's like, oh, they saw him out with Triple H. Oh, he must be Triple H's boy. That kind of deal. That's it.
So all that being considered, early predictions for night 2 of Fyter Fest and Great American Bash. Which one do you think is going to be the better show going into next week of night 2?
Well, what's scheduled for night 2 of Great American Bash other than the title match?
Other than the title match, I should have had that queued up, shouldn't I?
What's her face's debut?
Because I feel like they should have done Great American Bash as like a takeover kind of deal. You don't need to stretch it out over 2 weeks. You're not fooling anyone. Okay, that's it.
Yeah, they should have bad and had like 5 matches.
Yeah, I'm like, that's the problem. Okay, you have your pay-per-view matches, like the 2 women's matches and the title match. Okay.
Ray versus Mia Yim is one of the matches. I know that. There's a 6-man tag with
oh yeah, Drake Maverick and Breezango versus Team Phantasma, whatever you call them.
Phantasma. That was my first time seeing him. I dig it.
Here's the deal. Okay, you just saying those 2 matches. Okay, does this
already
feel
makes forward to Fyter Fest more?
Does this feel like a big time show to you?
Absolutely not.
Jeff, I need an honest answer. Not an optimistic
It's gonna be
happen answer. I need an honest answer. Just hearing what we just said were the matches for night 2 of Great American Bash.
I will say that after seeing the match cards on both shows put back to back, it sounds like this is a takeover show that got split in half.
And that's a problem.
It's all the matches for night 2.
It's one of those things where you could have put together a takeover show with a bunch of these matches and had it on a Saturday and done a pay-per-view style, have it take over Great American Bash. Bam, done.
You guys Do you guys even notice the plot hole here, though? As far as NXT goes, we have Candice LeRae on 2 matches in 2 weeks of a subpar event.
But
wait. Who are we building NXT around right now?
But are we
not even on either of the 2 nights cards? Karrion Kross.
Are we certain that Candice LeRae versus Mia Yim is this week and not next week?
Yes.
It's next
it's night 2?
Yeah,
okay.
it's listed for night 2.
Here's the deal. Okay. They
2 matches. You might as well throw her in a mixed tag match with Johnny Gargano.
It's transparent. Okay, we know what this is. Triple H can talk all he wants, but it's legitimately. They announced Fyter Fest was going to be 2 nights, like a month ago. Okay, and then last week, Triple H goes, Great American Bash is going to be 2 nights, the 1st and the 8th. You're not fooling anyone, boss. It's like you could have put together a good takeover card and had it on the 11th or the 4th. Fuck it. Have it on July 4th. Great American Bash.
Why not have it on Saturday? That's NXT's pay-per-view night.
Yeah. Have it on the 4th of July. Have Keith Lee unite the titles on the 4th of July. No, but you had to do this. You had to fucking make it a war and do that thing. And your cards suffer because of it. Because you're going to have Keith Lee versus Adam Cole, which is going to be awesome, even though we know the winner. We know it already, but the match is going to be great. We know this. Candice LeRae versus Mia Yim is going to be awesome. It's going to be great. Once again, we're going to have an hour and a half of filler in between both of those matches. Okay, so a great takeover event suddenly turns into 2 normal NXT shows.
So all that being said, if you had to put your money on either Fyter Fest or Great American Bash to win night 2 and have the superior show, if you had to gun to your head, what show would you put your money on for winning the next week?
Great American Bash has a better chance than it did night 1 because of its title match. But I'm still going Fyter Fest because they built Fyter Fest like it's a 2-week pay-per-view. So,
Charlie. Oh, sorry.
So they built it like a 2-week pay-per-view. So
as it should have been.
Ending of old feuds, the ending of old feuds, beginning of others. Okay, so we're getting endings of stuff to build onto further stuff to bring into All In. With Great American Bash, okay, you have Keith Lee versus Adam Cole. You have Mia Yim versus Candice LeRae, which could be an ending and a beginning in that both of them. Okay, but what are you doing in between? You're doing nothing in between. It's a filler. It's enhancement stuff like you did the first night. That's the problem. Fyter Fest feels like a full-fledged 2-week pay-per-view. Great American Bash feels like 2 NXT shows put together instead of a takeover event. So, yeah, I'm still going Fyter Fest for night 2.
All right, Charlie, who do you got for night 2? Fyter Fest or Great American Bash?
It's closer this time, but Fyter Fest has it.
Mm.
And they don't need a title match to take it because let's talk about the monkey in the room. That's it. Obviously, with Renee Young's COVID-19 positive test announcement, John Moxley had to quarantine himself for 14 days. So obviously he's not going to be available for night 2. So they moved it to the week after, which they're calling another pay-per-view event. So it's like AEW has it on lock right now. Okay, because they know how to build. They know how to build. They know how to build shows in advance to make them pay-per-view quality, whereas NXT goes, oh, AEW is doing this. Let's put these 2 matches on this show. Let's put these 2 matches on this show, and then we'll treat it like a pay-per-view, and then we'll have filler in between, in between the 2 big matches. So just with obviously, okay, once her COVID-19 positive test came in, as much as they tried to pad it out a week, okay, you knew that Moxley wasn't going to be around for night 2. It wasn't going to happen. It wasn't going to be a possibility. So I do like how they put that Taz promo. Okay, it's a shoot that you can actually agree with, knowing what's been going on in WWE circles the last couple weeks. So it's like, you can't call it like a bitter promo. WWE's mad. They should be mad. They should be mad at themselves, because if they didn't do that shit, then that promo wouldn't have had to be said. That's it. That's it. But yeah, it's the most sense. Yeah, the Fyter Fest loses a title match, but now Orange Cassidy versus Chris Jericho can main event. And where's the problem in that?
There is none. That's
Hence why I asked the question to begin with. But having said all that, now we've got our predictions and our reviews in the can. Now we turn it over to you, our wrestling listening, viewing, and consuming audience. We want to hear from you. Which one did you think was the better show, and who's going to win week 2 of Fyter Fest and Great American Bash? Let us know all across the internet, YouTube comments, Facebook comments, just not TikTok comments because we're not there. And of course, on the good old-fashioned Twitter machines, starting with @ScholarsOW, our main account for all the latest episode uploads. And of course, you can also join the conversation personally by following us on our personal Twitter accounts. Brian, where can they reach you?
You can find me at my absolute douchiest at Atomic Beanpole.
And Scholar Charlie, where can they reach you?
Next in line at the throne at Charlene.
And how many E's is that?
I don't even know.
I don't know either. That's why I'm asking. I keep spelling your Twitter handle.
You guys tagged me on the Scholars, so
yes. I think Tarek probably did that. Who you can follow at the Avatarek, by the way. If I would keep losing track of that if he hadn't done that. And if you want to join in conversation with me, you can always join me at I'm Robbie Rage. Join the conversation. Yes, all one word. Again, trying to break the bad habits. But again, we're trying and we're failing. Because let's face it, you all know who we are. We are the Scholars of Wrestling, and you have just been schooled. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
See you all next week for week 2 of Fyter Fest and Great American Bash.
Huzzah!